Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer deck tech. It's been a hot minute since we've done a Pioneer deck tech, and I'm really excited to bring this very special list to you. So today, we're going to be talking about Temur, Monsters, and Pioneer. Very excited to talk about the list. So as always, before we hop into the video here, just let me know in the comment section below after the video, what do you think about the list? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What would you change? And as always, if you're looking for suggestions or trying to give me suggestions about upcoming deck techs, something you want to see, just let me know in the comment section below. You can post the whole list, you can post an idea, a specific card, whatever you like, just put it in the comment section below. So, okay, Temur Monsters. So a little bit of backstory. I've played this deck on and off for couple years now in Pioneer. I played it a while ago when the mana base wasn't super good, but definitely now the mana base is way better. Now we have like the pain lands, we have more of the fast lands in Pioneer, so it's a lot easier to cast our spells in general. So we're just gonna hop right into here anyway. So we're playing 4 Land Elves, 4 Elvish Mystics, obviously staple dorks, especially in aggro decks like this. Obviously come out turn 1, they make some mana, they do what we need them to do. We're also playing 3 Stubborn Denial, one of my favorite cards in the deck. Stubborn Denial is fantastic with all of our different monsters we play, because obviously the 1 blue, it's a 4 spike, but if we have a creature power 4 greater, it's just counter. It's 1 mana negate, which, spoiler alert, we're playing a ton of creatures with power 4 greater, so most of the time it's just going to be a 1 mana negate. So our next slide here, a couple of the different blood of the deck, I guess we could say. I don't really know what I'd say. But Sylvan Caryatid, we're just playing 2 copies of it. Kind of helps fix our mana a little bit. Something to do on 2 mana. We don't want 4 Caryatids. I've tried 4, and I think it's a little bit too much. So I'm just playing 2 copies. If we're missing 1 color mana, Sylvan Caryatid obviously helps patch that up for us, because it makes mana of any color. So Sylvan Caryatid is a fantastic card. We're also playing 4 Bone Crusher Giant. Bone Crusher Giant, obviously just a fantastic creature in the deck. You got the removal on the one side. On the other side, you have a very, very excellent creature that also is 4 power. So Stubborn Denial only costs 1 mana, which is, well, it still costs 1 mana no matter what, but, it's a 1 mana negate. Now, my favorite card in the deck. We're playing 4 Savage Knuckleblade. So for those who don't know what Savage Knuckleblade does, it's a 4/4 for green, blue, red Ogre Warrior. We can tap 2 and a green to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. We can tap 2 and a blue to return it to our hand. And we can tap a red to give it haste. So a little bit of backstory with Savage Knuckleblade. So people thought that this card was going to be absolutely insane. They thought it was going to be, basically everything Siege Rhino was is what people thought Savage Knuckleblade was going to be, essentially. Which, obviously, it was not that, but Savage Knuckleblade, a lot of people really, really like the card, because it is a very fun card, and I tell you, when you play turn 2 Savage Knuckleblade in this deck, it feels so good. I love Savage Knuckleblade. It's one of my favorite cards in the game, and I'm always looking for reasons to play it. So obviously we're playing 4 copies in our deck today, and it is one of the better creatures in the deck, I will say. It's not just a random card. It's very, very good. So our next slide, we have some of our different monsters that we're playing. We're playing 1 Questing Beast. It's Word Soup, obviously fantastic. We're also playing 4 Glorybringer and 4 Elder Gargaroth. So both are fantastic creatures to play in the deck. Obviously, Glorybringer, being able to take out other creatures, dealing 4 damage most of the time. It takes out like every creature in the format. And Elder Gargaroth with haste is absolutely insane because of the attack trigger or block trigger. So whenever it attacks or blocks, we make a 3/3 beast, gain 3 life, or draw a card. And in that case, it's coming into play. We're drawing a card with, spoiler alert, the card that we're talking about on our next slide. Then we're immediately attacking, making a 3/3, gaining life, drawing more cards, whatever. So Elder Gargaroth is really, really good, and Glorybringer is fantastic. Elder Gargaroth, very underrated in the format as well, and I'm really happy that, we have a list to be able to play it in. Alrighty, so our last slide we're going to talk about here, kind of a couple of the, top end of our curve, but also I think the card that's most important. So we have 2 Carnage Tyrants, one of my favorite cards in the deck, obviously, well, not just in the deck, just in Magic in general. 7/6 for 6, can't be countered, trample, and hexproof. Just really good stats, really hard for control decks and mid-range decks to be able to punch through Carnage Tyrant. It's just a fantastic card. But in my opinion, the lifeblood of the deck is Temur Ascendancy. We're playing a full 4 copies of it. Green, blue, and a red enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under you control, you may draw a card. So, obviously gives our creatures haste, so that way we're able to just attack, get in there, and we're drawing cards, refilling our hand every time we play one of our creatures. So Temur Ascendancy is a huge part of the deck. If we played on turn 2 off of an elf, like that's just insane. Then we just start slamming monsters that have haste. Temur Ascendancy, absolutely incredible card. I love playing it. Just started playing it a couple years ago. Like originally when I played the Temur deck, I didn't have any copies of it. Decided to try it, and it's been fantastic ever since I put it in the deck. So Temur Ascendancy, fantastic card. So that's our entire main board except for our lands here. We're playing 4 Stomping Ground, 4 Breeding Pool, and 1 Steam Vents, obviously staple lands of the format. We're also playing 3 Copperline Gorge, 2 Botanical Sanctum, and 1 Carplusian Forest. And then rounding out our lands, which we have another slide after this, I forgot. We're playing 1 Yavimaya Coast, 4 Cragcrown Pathway, 1 Bark Channel Pathway. And then finishing our lands, we're playing 1 Boseiju, 1 Mountain, and 1 Forest. So, obviously, longtime viewers of the channel, as the spicy basic lands, I decided to play the Lord of the Rings ones in this list. I really like the Lord of the Rings lands. I think they're really cool. You know, you got the map going on there. I'm just a big fan of these lands, so, and I hadn't included them yet, so I figured why not? We'll go ahead and throw them on there. So, that is the entire main board. So, a little bit different sideboarding today. So, normally I give an exact sideboard of what I'm playing, but with how everybody's different metagames are, instead of putting very specific cards, I figured I would just talk about some general sideboard cards you should be playing. So, in the first case, so for the sideboard, ideally, a little bit of graveyard hate. So, my personal opinion would be like Tormod's Crypt, Soul Guide Lantern, or Grafdigger's Cage, just because they're good against a lot of different decks in the format. So, I definitely suggest playing some graveyard hate, specifically for the Abzan Greasefang matchup. That's definitely a big one, especially in the current metagame. Also against the red-black sacrifice decks, you know, with Cauldron Familiar. Next, counter spells and removal. That could be a lot of different combinations of cards. At least with counter spells, I recommend either like some, probably not Spell Pierce, but probably Decisive Denial. I really like Decisive Denial. It's a really good Simic counterspell. Aether Gust is fantastic as well. Mystical Dispute is a great option too if there's a lot of counterspell, blue-white control decks in your format. That's what I would recommend with counterspells. At least with removal, I would personally recommend Rending Volley. Again, really good against the Humans deck. It's really good against Spirits, really good against Greasefang. Obliterating Bolt also is a fantastic option for removal. If there's a lot of low to the ground aggro decks in your matchup, I'd maybe consider playing an Anger of the Gods specifically, maybe just like 1 or 2 copies of that. And then finishing out the sideboard, I highly recommend some grindy cards and silver bullets. So grindy cards, I would say Klothys is the first card that comes to mind for me personally. I would also consider Cindervines, not so much a grindy card, but it's very, very good to bring in against mid-range and control decks, just because you get all that incremental damage. Or if there's any decks, obviously, that are like having artifacts and enchantments, bring in the Cindervines. It's fantastic against them. And then Silver Bullets, more specifically cards like Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere, honestly, that's probably the main Silver Bullet, besides maybe like Test of Talents, which I wouldn't even consider that a Silver Bullet. But Damping Sphere obviously is fantastic in the format overall, just because it's really good against the Mono Green Devotion deck and the Lotus combo decks. So just figured I would throw that in there as well. So that is the entire list. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. This is a really, really fun deck. I would like to feature this in one of the upcoming Pioneer Showdowns that I do on the channel, which I will have a link to our most recent Pioneer Showdown on here if you'd like to check it out for yourself. Once again, let me know in the comment section below. What do you like about the list? What do you hate about it? What would you change? Just let me know in that comment section below. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.